Sorare is a fantasy football game in which you can play and earn. With player cards available from around 245 clubs, you can bid and purchase the digital cards from the auction. You can then use those cards in different leagues and can even sell them for profit. Click on the link below, sign up, get common cards as a bonus, and if you decide to purchase limited cards, you'll get a free 6 limited card on 5 purchases. Check it out now. Hello and welcome back to the channel everyone. Hope you all are well and you had a nice match day 4. I am back with another video, and in this one I'll run you through my team selection for match day 5. We'll look at the probable transfers and the initial plans I have for my transfers, and yeah, I'll talk about how my team looks like on paper. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, and if you're new here, please do subscribe and help me reach 700 subs sooner. So without further ado, let's just get started with the team selection. So yeah, starting with the goalkeepers, I've got Mignolet starting in against Porto. The reason to pick Mignolet is that I've taken Aiden out and brought in Mignolet, and you might call it a rage transfer. And the reason is that I did expected Aiden to keep a clean sheet in the previous game, but he not only lost his clean sheet, he got a red card, and that resulted in a loss in a little loss of points. Obviously, I didn't get a red arrow. I managed to survive that game week, but still, when you bring in a cheap keeper expecting a clean sheet or some saving points from him and he gets a red card, you just end up losing it. So yeah, now looking at Mignolet, the reason to bring him in is that Mignolet has been pretty alright in the group stage. He's kept a clean sheet in every game he has played, and that is the specific reason why I would prefer Mignolet at his price. Other than I would go for the premium keepers, I'd just keep Mignolet in. Now the other keeper is Lunin on my goal, who might not feature. The probability of him featuring is high, not featuring is high, because Courtois is back, and I personally think that Lunin would be a waste. So I might just keep Aiden in and take out Lunin and go for someone more cheaper. But we'll see. Still, I have some money in the bank. But the current initial plan is to take Aiden out and bring Mignolet in. So yeah. Now we move on to the 5 defenders. The 4 of them, are visible on screen, and 1 is on the bench. As you can see, Dumfries is my second initial plan of a transfer. I've taken out Rafael Guerrero, and he was supposed to play Man City this game week, and Dumfries faces Victoria Pilsen. So Dumfries also scored in his last game versus Pilsen, and the reason to bring him in is similar. The attacking returns. He gets into attacking positions. He was unlucky versus Barcelona not to finish, a good chance, but on the counter, Inter is a pretty good side, and Victoria obviously a side that concedes a lot of goals. And the reason to bring Dumfries in is that I do expect him to keep a clean sheet or at least return me some attacking points. Now Simikas, another rotational risk in my side. So if we look at Dumfries, Simikas, and Guerrero, if I retain Guerrero, the reason would be Guerrero might still feature. Simikas is a rotational risk, and if he is not in the expected lineups, I would then have to take out Simikas, and I'll then take Simikas out and bring Dumfries in his place. But looking at Simikas, Liverpool is not playing defensively, solidly or defensively, and we all saw how vulnerable they were against against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest obviously not an attacking side, not a really high attacking side. They were they just attacked 3 or 4 times. That were meaningful attacks, and we saw how Liverpool looked vulnerable and their attack looked threatening. And if you look at Liverpool's defense, the defense was not like what we expect from them, what we expected from them looking at their previous seasons. So here specifically, I think Ajax might end up scoring. They've got Kudus, he's a pretty nice player, and I do expect Ajax to end up scoring and Simikas not keeping a clean sheet. But with Simikas, a cheap potential option who might, he's on set pieces as we know, who might return an assist or an attacking point, is a huge benefit. But we'll see if he's in the expected lineups or not. Now looking at the Man City duo of Akanji and Cancelo, Akanji obviously playing every game. The probability of them keeping a clean sheet is again high, as we know Man City is a good defensive side. Obviously they lost a clean sheet today versus Brighton, but still they would still be up there with their defensive options in the high probability clean sheet list. So next up is Cancelo. Cancelo in for his attacking returns. He has been slightly out of form in the previous 2 games in the Premier League and in the UCL. We also saw in the UCL too. And to be very honest, probably he was just he needed some rest, and hopefully I'd advise holding on to Cancelo, and the reason is that in the longer run, I do expect him to return clean sheets. And versus Dortmund, obviously Dortmund not in a very good defensive side. I do expect him to be among points. So the fifth defender, as you can see, is Davies from Bayern. Bayern faces Barcelona. Bayern obviously missing some of their players, but I do expect them to pull out a draw. Barcelona, obviously, we saw how many transfers they made. How they on paper they are a really good team, but they haven't been performing the way we expected them to perform in the big game. So yeah, I do expect Bayern to just pull out a draw. It would be, I guess, 2-2, or probably a Bayern win as a 2-1. So Davies for the attacking returns if we're lucky. So this is how my defense is currently looking like. Now we move on to the midfielders. Obviously Bellingham is a big hold. If you've got Bellingham, hold on to him. We saw how he scored 2 goals today, and the reason is pretty clear. Bellingham is a good attacking player. He gets into good positions. He's good at scoring. He's a bright prospect, and next game they've got a good game against Villa. So I would probably keep Bellingham, uh, and this is specifically the reason to keep him. Probably not against Sevilla. I don't remember the team they've got a fixture against, so that is my bad. But Bellingham is a total hold because of his attacking returns, and if we're lucky, he might score against Man City too. But I wouldn't want that with Akanji and Cancelo as my two defenders at the back. Now we move on to the the Napoli midfielders Zelensky and Kvaratskhelia. Now specifically talking about Kvaratskhelia, we saw how good of an attacker he is on the wings. He's among the attacking returns. He's among the attacking returns via crosses, via assists. He's among the attacking returns through goals, by scoring goals. So Kvaratskhelia is really a good option at the price he's being given at. Similarly, Zelensky is a cheap option. He's on penalties, and that is what gives them an advantage against the Rangers. A good juicy fixture for them, and this might just be a game of good points where you might see a lot of points in the game. So looking at the subs on the bench, that are the two midfielders from Bayern again. I've got Jamal Musiala, I've got Leroy Sané. Obviously, they've got a game against Barcelona. Barcelona missing some of their good defenders. I think Anders Christensen isn't back yet. Koundé is obviously back, but with the likes of Araujo missing, they are somewhat vulnerable, and we saw how easily Madrid got past them on the counter attacks. So I do expect Bayern to score a couple of goals against them easily. Now, if Bayern concedes, that is something of a different story, but Bayern would score against them. They've got the likes of Mane, Sane, Musiala. All these are top-notch players, and on their day, nobody can stop them. So that is the sole reason, and obviously they are going to go ahead in the round of 16. We'll get unlimited transfer, so that is something not to really consider. But yeah, you can just look at the next two fixtures. Our first one is this one, and the other one versus Inter, another good fixture for a team like Bayern. So this is how my mid is set for now. Now the three attackers, as you can see, Haaland has got a little that chip sort of thing. That is because he's my captaincy choice. Haaland, nothing to talk about. We saw how good he was today versus Brighton. He got 2 goals, 1 penalty, and a 1 really great finish. Haaland is really unstoppable. He's got 16 goals already, and that is something to really consider if we're not keeping Haaland in your side. So Haaland against Dortmund, a defensively weak side, not as good as other teams, other European teams are on the top scale, but they do end up conceding goals. And who else if not Haaland from Man City? Obviously, you can punt on Foden or Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield if you've got the budget, but up front, Haaland is a constant. There are players who might prefer Mbappe or Neymar or Messi, but I'd say go with Haaland if you've got the budget. He's a no-brainer. Now, looking at Lewandowski, you might say this is not an ideal pick to keep in this one, but I do expect Bayern to concede, obviously with Neuer missing. Neuer is a big advantage for them. So he'll miss. Neuer is going to miss the game, and Lewandowski has been settling down in that Barca's attack. So if we saw how good he was versus Villarreal, those touches were awesome, to be very honest. And he got into good attacking positions versus Bayern in the previous game. So this is a home game. Obviously, it won't be easy, but Lewandowski on his day is an extremely lethal striker. He pulled out 2 goals from nowhere versus Inter Milan for the 3-3 draw. that Barca did. Obviously, they are going to go to Europe now. It is probably inevitable. Uh, um, if Inter manages to book out a defeat versus Victoria Pilsen, then might be a chance, but it is a case of if and buts. But currently, we've got Lewandowski against Bayern in this fixture, and the next one we've got against Victoria Pilsen. So these are the two fixtures that you might want to target with a premium striker. Bayern, obviously a better side than Pilsen, but Victoria Pilsen, the end fixture would be a good, huge point scoring one. So obviously, if you're not satisfied with Lewandowski in this one, you've got the likes of again Mbappe and all the other strikers. Lautaro Martinez might be a good option in this one if you want to target the Victoria fixture specifically. Now the cheap option is Jukla. Obviously, Jukla wasn't really great in the previous fixture, but I do expect him to be to continue his good form in Club Brugge, like he's been playing in the league and he's been playing in the previous few games in Champions League. He has been among the attacking returns. He's pretty alright, pretty cheap option and alright with the penalties and stuff. So I do rate Jukla as a cheap option. Sesko was one there too, but Sesko hasn't really, satisfied me with his game. Jutla has been, among the attacking returns with the crosses. He's been, with the assists. I keep on saying crosses. Sorry about that. He's been among the attacking returns with the assists. He's been among the attacking returns with the goal. So yeah, Jutla, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Now, these are obviously my, two current transfer plans that I've listed on the right side. As you can see, Dumfries and Mignoletin for Guerrero and Eden. Eden, obviously, the goalkeeper from Sporting. But these are obviously not locked in, and I'm going to do as usual, I'm going to do my live stream where I'm going to talk about the cheat sheet. We look at the probability and all the fixtures and the games you might want to target. So my current points are 352 points. I've got a 2K rank overall, and I'm currently 6th in the country. So this is how I'm planning to field my 11 for this game match day. Obviously, there would be some changes once the team news is out. I would discuss all that in the live stream. I would really be happy if you would join me on the live stream just before the deadline, at 2 or 3 hours before the deadline I started usually. So yeah, it would be nice if you could join me there. So currently this is it from my side for now. Thank you all for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel.